Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Taz Isom. I am the senior leader of Church in the Wild. I wanted to give you a formal introduction of our organization, tell you a little bit about what we are, who we are, what we represent, and what we're trying to do. For starters, we are a Christian community, a progressive, fully inclusive, inter-denominational spiritual community of Christian misfits and rejects. That means we don't fit. It means that we have been rejected. Maybe some of you have been rejected by the church, organized Christianity, religious institutionalism, or whatever it may be. You've been rejected, or you just don't fit because the purpose or plan that God has called you to just doesn't fit in the religious construct. So what our job is we are focused on trying to guide people that are seekers into a deeper experience and understanding of God. Now, we do have some bedrock principles on how we do that and how we get that done. But in a nutshell, we're just trying to help people transition or to shift into a higher consciousness or into a new way of living spiritually. That's the important thing. Church in the Wild was inspired by the Kanye West and Jay-Z song titled No Church in the Wild. And what I got from the song is simply that there is truly no church in the place where the culture is. That we have hidden behind our four walls of the church, and we have focused just on people that are inside of our building instead of focusing on the majority or mass amount of people that are outside of the four walls. The wilderness experience is something that in my book entitled Church in the Wild, Finding God Outside of Organized Religion, talks about the wilderness and the wild. And not only is it a place where people go to that have left the church, but it is also a place where you experience God the deepest, where you have the most intense spiritual experiences. That's what I've come to find out personally with my life, is that the moments that I spent outside the church, or that I was in despair or in pain or in darkness, it is that moment where I experienced God the deepest. And that is what I want for people. The thing about it is, when I came out into the wilderness, I didn't really have a community that was accepting. At least I couldn't find one initially. So one of the things I wanted to provide for people like that are rejects and misfits when it comes to religious institutionalism is I wanted to create a community where they could feel at home, where they can feel a sense of family or connection or fellowship without judgment, without fear of being judged because they are different, because they're rejected. So this is one of the reasons why I created Church in the Wild. We live in what religious thinkers call the postmodern generation. Most people are leaving religion. A lot of people are leaving Christianity, and thousands of people are leaving the church. Why? Not because they don't believe in God, but because they don't believe in the church. So most of the people that are leaving organized religion or Christianity particularly is not because they have stopped loving God or believing in him. They just don't believe in the institution that claims to believe in him. And how can you blame them? Not just crookedness in the pulpit, not just judgment, not just the lack of love, but there are a host of several other things that have caused us over time. White supremacy, injustice, not standing with what's right on the side of love and peace. It is our job as Christians to partner with God in the world to bring peace and love throughout the world. God is not a God of hate. He's a God of love. The scriptures say he is. So it is important and critical for us to understand that we have to join with a community where we can feel as if we can do that with someone and do it in our own way. Do it in our own way to the fact because it is our purpose. It is our calling. And that is what we want to help you. We want to help guide you into deeper truths, deeper revelations. Maybe, like me, you began challenging or seeing the hypocrisy in a lot of theology and dogmas and doctrines in the church, and you began to grow, read, study, and see that there's so much more in the universe. So much more the universe has to offer to us if we begin to just simply look at what God is trying to say in Scripture than taking it always literally. I take the Bible serious. I just don't take it literal all the time because there are some things that are contradictory to science, and not just science alone, but contradictory to the word itself. So I have to understand that when that those things can limit my understanding of God. Those things can limit my experience of God. And it is our job, it is our goal to help you experience God and to help you understand God in ways that you've never before, to see, have new perspectives, new paradigms, to shift into a place where you are whole spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. That is what God's goal and desire is for us. And that is what Church in the Wild is trying to do. We're trying to get a community of people that have been rejected and that don't fit in and allow them a space where they can be themselves. That is what we are at the core, is at the root. There's so much more I could talk about, but this is something I just want to introduce. Some of you have been wondering and asking. You've been seeing me post things. You've been seeing Church in the Wild all over the place, and you just didn't understand what it was. It is a place, a safe haven, a refuge for people like for people like yourself that are trying to shift into a new dimension in life and just need a space where they can be themselves and be and become.